WB Games have announced they are closing down Monolith Productions, who were working on DC's Wonder Woman and had previously delivered the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War series. They're also closing down Player First Games, who worked on Multiverses, and WB San Diego. They've also confirmed this with a statement that I'll go through soon.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
For those who know me, I started YouTubing and streaming with my ex under the title Batates. I quickly became one of the biggest Shadow of War channels on the platform. I'd like to think that was because of my love of the games and the developers. I'm both extremely upset about this news and angry. WB took out a patent for the Nemesis system, then seemingly proceeded to force Monolith into developing something more mainstream using their IP. Like Lord of the Rings didn't have mass appeal. Shadow of Mordor released in 2014 and War in 2017. The development cycle was not 7 years, which is how long they've been working on Wonder Woman. Clearly something went wrong, and it would be safe to assume it was on WB's end. Working with them was a nightmare. My contact at Monolith would have to punch through walls of processes that WB put up in order to make their job marketing extremely difficult. Something as simple as approving early content would be pushed past the embargo window because the WB logo wasn't big enough for their liking. Yes, they had a percentage of screen real estate that it should take up, and it was over 30%. If you remember, they also forced loot boxes in the game to recoup some of their investment, though cheekily Monolith made them completely unnecessary, but they still got hammered for it in reviews. Now, I mentioned the Nemesis system. It was my favorite part of the Middle-earth series. I would stream on both Twitch and YouTube, and then with their direction create powerful orcs for both. Then pit them together in a death match. It was a ton of fun, and the games mechanically truly made each time you play unique. They could have taken the system so far, yet unlike the invention of the seatbelt, WB thought their invention should not be available to the world. They'll be lucky not everyone is as greedy when they inevitably crash. Well, sorry, I mentioned their invention. It's not their invention, it's Monolith's, who were trying to add it into their next game, Wonder Woman. I'm no Wonder Woman fan, but I know the franchise well, and I know the Nemesis system, and I don't know guys, it seems like it wouldn't fit. She doesn't have a strong dying and coming back theme, and neither do her villains. Yes, I know about the Lazarus Pit and things like that, but it fits something like WB's Game of Thrones franchise better, as that has a strong resurrection theme with the Lord of the Light. So what Monolith might have done with Wonder Woman is making it so defeating villains doesn't kill them, and they break out of jail later, scarred and angry or something like that. All this to say, I hope WB chooses to use the system for their other franchises now, and I hope they don't hold the patent and never use it, like they have for the last 7 years. So WB have released a statement. We have had to make some difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. I want to point out guys, WB Games alone earns over $200 million a year, even though they've had flop after flop with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and Multiverses. And it seems like everyone else needs to pay the price for it. Also, since when is Wonder Woman not DC, which they just mentioned is a key franchise? They go on, after careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios, Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Bros. Games San Diego. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. They're about to be hypocrites very soon with that statement, because once again it's complete crap. They don't want to pay wages and will shift only key talent to their other studios. They're handling mismanagement with more mismanagement. If you remember, they mentioned in March 2004 that they wanted to shift their gaming focus to live service, free-to-play, and mobile games. We were suspecting that that would impact single-player games, and here we are seeing the fallout. Continuing on, the development of Monolith's Wonder Woman video game will not move forward, because I guess it's not DC, right? Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities. This is business jargon for, we don't want to spend money on this. Strategic priorities. Well, we know what they are now. Moving on, this is another tough decision as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. We greatly admire the passion of the 3 teams and thank every employee for their contributions. Amazing games were not amazing enough to let them make more. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios, and getting our games back to profitability and growth in 2005 and beyond. So what they're saying is Monolith wasn't producing high quality games and wasn't a world-class studio. The final line there is the main reason they did all of this, what a boardroom considers profitability and growth. This is where the games industry is at. Figureheads that have never played a game in their life, looking at numbers and questioning why their games aren't pulling the revenue of Fortnite. A small team making a game that makes millions of dollars just won't cut it anymore. Shadow of War made an estimated $225 million since its release, but another $225 million must seem like a drop in the water to WB. The industry has experienced layoff after layoff. Recently there were layoffs at the studio responsible for Marvel Rivals, and the game has been a critical success story, so it seems no developer is safe. I'm pretty gutted that a studio that brought me so much joy is gone forever, and that what we have now is more or less all we're ever getting. It feels like losing a friend who was bullied by their big brother who constantly forced the wrong choices onto them, and it ended up killing them. It makes me angry. The best we can hope for though is that the Nemesis system is allowed to live, that we see it used wonderfully by new studios willing to let their creativity flourish. I for one would welcome our new Nemesis system overlords. I'd like to remind them that as a YouTuber, I can be useful in rounding up nerds to invest in their underground Bitcoin mines. So rest in peace, Monolith. Thank you to everyone who enjoyed the series with me over the years. It's a core memory I'll never forget.